What up, what up, what up, everybody? Shout out to everybody in the YouTube world. It's the Nerve of You podcast, man. Coming at y'all on this lovely Sunday evening, man. You know, we got a few things to talk about. I'm up here with the co-hosts that love to do the most, man. We got Rose in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, everyone.
And we're going to talk about this Brittney Griner situation. And what I want to do is I want to tie the Brittney Griner situation into how feminism has actually hurt a lot of modern women. You know, not just feminism, but, you know, a lot of these extreme left ideas that they have about, you know, particularly in this country, I'm going to say in the United States, because, you know, feminism is not running rapid all over the world and everything. But we got this Brittney Griner situation. She has been locked up in a Russian prison. You know, she's been locked up over there for quite some time now. And, you know, we can say, especially for the United States standards, it was for a pretty minor offense. You know what I'm saying? She had a little bit of, they say, hashish, weed, that was in like a little smokable pen or whatever the case was. And she had it in, I guess, her on her or her backpack, you know, because she plays basketball for Russia. You know, when the WNBA season is over, because she don't make a lot of money. None of the women actually make a lot of money. They go overseas, and this is when they make their big money. So she was going to Russia for some years now to play ball, but I guess she got a little too comfortable. You know, and that's where the feminism come in, the comfortability. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we think just because we can do things in this particular nation that, believe it or not, the United States allots us a lot of freedom. Compared to other places in the world. Is it perfect? Not by a long shot. But at the end of the day, if you got caught with a little bit of weed in the United States, they're not even going to say nothing at this point.
Yeah, you get a slap on your wrist.
Yeah, you don't get a slap on the wrist. So, but then you got a lot of people that's been coming out, you know, defending Brittney Griner, which is fine. You know, she is an American citizen. You know what I mean? But I find it funny how, you know, a lot of people not talking about the entitled attitude of a lot of women these days, you know, and I want to bring up the women for a reason, because there was like people from the WNBA saying stuff like, oh, well, you know, if Brittney Griner was LeBron James, they would have already went over there and got her, and all this other stuff, and they not incorporating all the variables that's in it. Like LeBron James is a money generator for many, many corporations. Of course, they're not going to let LeBron James sit in a Russian prison. I don't even think LeBron would even be in this situation. But, you know, and that's 100% based off the money that he makes for a lot of powerful people. You know what I mean? You got Nike, you got, you know what I mean? You got the NBA, you got all these corporations that LeBron James brings billions of dollars to, and not to mention his own, you know, fortune that he has amassed through the years. So it's like trying to compare apples and strawberries. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not even the same thing to try to compare Brittney Griner to a LeBron James. They're not even close. Matter of fact, the WNBA is pretty much a charity, because the WNBA doesn't make any money. Every year they go in the red. I'm just going to be honest, because nobody wants to watch a bunch of women that look, act, dress, talk like men with lesser skills run around the basketball court. Back in the day, right, I used to watch the WNBA. This was back in like 97, you know what I mean, 98, 96. Well, 97, 98 was probably some of the best years for the WNBA. But one of the things that attracted a lot of people was the women were actually women. It was still a lot of heterosexual women in the WNBA, for one. They dress feminine, they talk feminine, they look feminine. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of dudes and women didn't mind watching it, but now you got these tattoo-laced, you know, mannish acting women, and they want to blame it on, you know, they want to blame the reason nobody's watching the WNBA, rather. and that the WNBA is losing a bunch of money every year, millions of dollars every year. They want to blame the circumstances on men and say that, oh, because we live in a, man worshiping country and da-da-da-da-da, nobody cares about us women. And it spills over to the entitlement to a woman like Brittney Griner to think that you can go to a foreign nation like Russia. Russia is our number one enemy for the United States. Let's just keep it crystal clear.
Right.
I mean, it's Russia, and it's a big space. Then you got maybe North Korea, then you got everybody else. Right. So to think that you're going to go to Russia and break the law as an American and not rot in prison lets me know the entitlement of a woman like Brittney Griner. Like, first of all, right now, Russia is actually in war, but I wouldn't even want to go to a country like Russia. I wouldn't want to play basketball over there. I wouldn't want to go over there, for a job, unless I was on official government business and I know I'm protected, because I understand the threat that come with that. Now, you already under immense threat just going over there in general. Now, you got the audacity to go over there with drugs. No matter how big or how small, it's illegal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just the bottom line. Now, everybody want to make excuses for Brittney Griner. And it's like, yo, when y'all gonna hold this girl accountable? How long she been playing ball in Russia? She don't know the rules. They don't give her a list, a packet of the rules. And the United States, they say ignorance of the law is no excuse.
What did they say?
In the United States of America, every judge will tell you ignorance of the law is no excuse. Meaning, it's every citizen's duty. It's our responsibility as an adult to know the law wherever you go. You could be going to another state or city, maybe for a little weekend vacation. Every state's got different laws on how they do things. Some states are laxed on this or laxed on that.
Right.
But if you get in trouble in that state and you go to court, the judge ain't going to care that you didn't know. You can't go to the judge and say, oh, excuse me, Your Honor, I'm from Chicago, and I came to Miami for the weekend. I didn't know. Nobody cares.
Right.
You an adult. Brittney Griner, 30, 31 years old, something like that. She need to have a seat. And this is how feminism has screwed up modern women, because Brittney Griner can get herself into a stupid situation and still everybody around her, people can still blame men for her poor judgment, her wrongdoings, her mishaps. And I'm like, whoa, man, we got to really speak about this, man. Do I think she should have been home already? Of course. I mean, but you dealing with Russia. I mean, you know what I mean? We not.
Who goes to Russia?
at this point in the game, right?
I wouldn't go to Russia if they paid me.
Hey, thanks for that $9.99 super chat, Rel. Shout out to you, brother. But so it spills over into situations like this that's severe. You know what I mean? All of this feminism crap from the United States of America, which I don't mind a little bit of feminism. You know what I mean? I think women should have fought for their rights. But there's an extreme side that came along with feminism too. And also feminism really hitched its wagon up to the civil rights movement. So everybody's a minority. But that's just a different story for a different day. But my thing is like, yo, man, you can't do that. And you can't come and ask men for help after you done let this feminist jargon and bull crap and malarkey fill your brain as a woman like Brittney Griner to think that you can do whatever you want and you ain't got to pay the consequences. Because she wrote a letter to Joe Biden. I'm talking about Brittney Griner on the 4th of July, which was fitting, Independence Day.
Right.
She wrote a letter to Joe Biden, and I'm paraphrasing, but she was just like, I'm reminiscing on this day, I'm thinking about freedom. I want to come home, and please don't forget about me. And I'm like, look, she was the same woman that was kneeling for the flag a couple years ago. So you going to kneel for the flag, but ask the flag to come save you after you got yourself into some crap. See, nobody's an American until you need America. I'm just going to be 100 until you actually need America, and then you somewhere else and you get caught up and you realize all the freedoms that we do have compared to other places. Is it perfect? Hell to the no.
Right.
But I would rather be here than in a Russian prison cell.
Yeah, we heard that it wasn't looking too good. She's in a cell that's like tiny.
That's only because she's 6'8".
She can't stretch her back.
You know what I'm saying? Like, she's in a standard size cell, but if you 6'8", it's going, it's going to feel smaller. She's a big woman, and I mean that. She's a tall woman. So if you 6'8", you know what I mean? Come on, any cell going. But they didn't give her any kind of inhumane treatment. You know what I mean? Look at the pictures of her going to court. She got on Nipsey Hussle t-shirts. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Her clothes look clean. You know what I mean? Her face looked the clearest I ever seen it in years. She looked like, you know what I mean? Brittney Griner looks like they're treating her like any other prisoner. And don't get it twisted. Russia understand that if anything happened to her while she's over there, she's probably in isolation. It's going to be a PR nightmare. They don't really want that. For one, it's a woman. Nobody really wants to see a woman on the news saying, "Oh, something happened to Brittney Griner in a Russian prison."
Right.
But my thing overall is the feminism aspect of it, because I'm like, yo, man, it's only the entitlement. A couple years back, some years back, I ain't gonna say a couple. It might have been like 5-6 years back. There was some contractors from the government that was over there working in Kuwait. It was 2 black women, and over there they practicing Sharia law hard.
Ooh,
so there was 2 women government contractors that was walking around Kuwait holding hands out in the public. This is blasphemy. This is like you pretty much begging. You might as well go up to the cops and say, "Take me to prison,"
and stone me,
and everything else. 2 black women, 2 sisters over there holding hands, walking down the street, thinking they on Collins in Miami or something like that. Thinking, you know what I mean? They walking downtown in any major city. They coming through holding hands.
Sunset Drive Boulevard.
Yeah, Sunset Boulevard and all that shit, right? And these women, I forgot how many years they got in prison, because I don't want to quote, but it was like a crazy amount of time. And I don't know if they ever came home or what, but they try to say they was political prisoners. But I'm like, you in a Muslim country that's heavy on the Sharia law, and you got 2 gay women that's walking down the street holding hands, and Kuwait, while the neighboring country is at war with the United States. It's like, how could you be? But that's the entitlement that I'm speaking of the feminism. You know what I mean? A lot of women don't understand how good they have it. Think about all the women that complain, right, about this country.
Right.
You know what I mean? About what men are able to do compared to women. Now you got the Roe v. Wade, you got the abortion situation. Women, they want rights over their body, da-da-da-da. All right. But think about all the freedoms that women have compared to women all over the world. That's pretty much really an oppression.
Right.
And you got women in the United States complaining that they can't do the same job as a man. Come on, man. Or they can't just have equal rights all over the spectrum, as if men and women are equal. And I'm like, man, this is crazy talk. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you got women, right? Because the military opened up their ranks and said that women, they can fight in combat now. They can take combat jobs in the military. Before, women can only have certain jobs, but they couldn't join the infantry, special forces, Navy SEALs. But they opened it up to women. Now, can some women be an infantryman? Maybe 1 out of 20.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's not impossible. But you got to understand, it's cute until you're in the middle of a war zone, and then you realize how hard the job actually is, and you got to do it every single day.
Our instincts are different. I believe we're equal, but not the same. So,
I mean, we equal under the eyes of God. Like, you know what I mean? God put just as much time in the women as he put in the men. I'm not one of them type of dudes that's using biblical scripture to try to say men are better than women. We both have a place and a role in this ecosystem that's equally as important. But my thing, I mean, even, certain religions like Buddhism, you know what I mean? One of their deities is a man and a woman. So, it's not completely out of the ordinary. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is just simple. A woman shouldn't be an infantryman, man. I'm going to be honest. A woman shouldn't work in combat arms in the military. And I'm not trying to sound like Fred Flintstone, but if I'm on the battlefield, I would feel a lot safer, right? Mm-hmm. Knowing that I have some hard-hitting dudes that got my back. Because if something happened to me, you're going to have to put me on your back and carry me to wherever we got to go to get me out of danger. And come on, man. You know what I mean? There's a difference in body structure and just overall biology between men and women. You know what I mean? Right. I know the feminists don't like to hear that, but it's the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just the truth, man. Nobody wants to watch the WNBA because they don't have the same skill set as the men in the NBA. Who would I rather watch, Steph Curry or Brittney Griner? Come on, man. I mean, I'm dead serious.
It's quite laughable.
I mean, it's comical.
Yeah.
And now, it seems like their skills is eroding, you know what I mean, through the years. Back in the day, it was a lot of women with skills that I used to like to watch. But now, I don't know what's going on with these women. But at the end of the day, a lot of women complain about trans men that compete in women's sports. But they don't say nothing about the trans women that compete in men's sports. You see what I'm saying? And that's where the feminism double standard comes in. And a lot of these women, they want men to speak out. Like, I've seen a few things on social media about some women like, well, where are the men that supporting women on the Roe v. Wade? And I'm like, well, there are some men that do support Roe v. Wade, but you can't go on a 50, 60 year feminism run where y'all bashing men, right? Where y'all bashing men, and then turn around and ask men to help you on your campaign. That's ultimately, it's going to hurt men in the end, and it's really going to hurt women. And I'm giving people an example of how feminism and the entitlement that comes with it is actually hurting women. You got a woman like Brittney Griner sitting up in a Russian prison crying, talking about she want to come home, come get me, don't forget about me. Well, nobody's going to forget about you, sweetheart, but have a seat because you did commit a crime.
Right.
But in the United States, like I keep saying, we forget that we get all of these freedoms in the United States to walk around with drugs, walk around the street smoking weed. You go to places like Canal Street or Bourbon Street in New Orleans, you can walk around with alcohol. You go to some countries, Vegas, you go to some countries, they locking you up, man. They locking you up, period. And once they find out that you're an American, they might slap you with a little bit more, especially if it's not a UN country. So we're not being real about this feminism actually hurting women in the long run. You know what I mean? Because think about the Brittney Griner situation. This is like, she's going to come home eventually. Matter of fact, she might be a political prisoner of some sort, because right now Russia not real happy with the United States, especially because the United States giving a lot of aid to Ukraine. So they gonna hold her. It's like, man, just sit down. You know what I mean? I'm gonna bring you some food and some water, but we're gonna have to keep you for a while because I'm not feeling your country.
Right.
So she is a bit of a political prisoner, because I think she should have came home for the crime. The punishment ain't fit the crime. Right. But at the end of the day, this is Russia. You know what I mean? This ain't, no, I'm serious. Look, man, this ain't Tijuana, Mexico, where you can, slash somebody's throat and then walk back over the border like the movie Sicario.
Right.
This is Russia. Do you understand the disdain Russia has for the United States and the entitlement for her see, here's the hypocrisy, because Brittney Griner, she was a part of a lot of the WNBA women that knelt for the flag. a couple years ago, which I don't have a problem with people kneeling for the flag. Here's what I got an issue with. Here's the hypocrisy. You can't kneel for the flag one day and ask the flag to come pick you up.
Ooh.
I'm sorry.
That's true.
It's you can't do that. You know what I mean? Honestly, man. And it sounds crazy. It's like Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick sued the NFL. They settled out of court. He made this big huff and puff. And then just a few months ago, he had a tryout with an NFL team talking about he want to get back. How you going to sue your old company? How you going to sue your old company and then turn around and want to work for them again? This is these hardcore extreme left ideas that's being implanted in people's minds, because you got to be sensible and realistic. You can't say F McDonald's, forget McDonald's, man. I used to work for them. I'll never work for McDonald's again. You know what I mean? They always do me wrong. They ain't nothing but a bunch of racists, da 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 da. You can't keep saying that, and then the moment you get in some trouble, you expect McDonald's to come help you or donate some money to your cause. You can't go to McDonald's and say, hey, can you donate money to my back to school program?
Right.
They're going to be like, hell to the no. You know what I mean? You have to be sensible here, man. You know what I mean? But a lot of people not ready for the consequences. Is like, yo, man, once you kneel and take a knee and say you're not standing for the flag because America is a bad country. America's far from perfect. But if we want to do the compare and contrast to other countries, America is really not that bad. I mean, remember when coronavirus hit and all them Africans in China was being treated like animals? Didn't we see, maybe sometime last year when the people from Haiti was in Texas and they was treating them like cowboys and hitting them with switches and putting ropes around them and stuff like that? You know what I mean? So, damn. Real talk, like this is real spill, man. So at the end of the day, but they was Haitians, but they not American citizens. Right. You know what I mean? Not that I condone it. I don't condone none of that stuff. But I'm saying, as Americans, we have the propensity to complain a lot, and I know why, because especially black people, our conditions are not the best. But man, y'all seen Somalia lately? Y'all can kiss my ass. You know what I mean? I'd rather live in Baltimore than Somalia.
Right. Chicago, Chirac.
I'd rather live in Chirac than Haiti.
I'd rather live on Skid Row than Somalia.
That's a Snapple top fact. I ain't capping.
I have a tent and everything.
I mean, but this episode not about that, but I do want to bring it to people's attention. Like, look, man, you know what I mean? Brittney Griner, you know what I mean? The moment she kneeled for that flag, you almost disqualify yourself from asking that same flag to come pick you. To come pick you up. Right. And let me say this: I don't mind people kneeling for the flag. You know what I mean? You got that right. As Americans, we really got the right to do a lot. You can't set a flag on fire. You can't do damage to a flag. But you don't have to salute. You don't have to stand up when they playing the national anthem. You have that right. But my thing is, yo, man, you got to understand what that come with. You know what I mean? You can ostracize yourself too. And when it's time for somebody to come get you, they like, nah, bro, I got stuff to do. Hit me up in 3 months when I get some time, and then maybe we'll see what you can do. Why would I rush to your defense when you was just calling the same flag, all kind of names and saying you ain't got no rights in this country? But I need to show you got a lot more rights than you think.
Right.
And I ain't the most patriotic guy in the world. You know what I mean? But I do understand, honestly, and this is a true story. I do understand as an American, if you get into some trouble anywhere around the world, especially if it's unjust, the State Department going to do whatever they can to try to bring you home. Does it always work? No. But at the end of the day, I would rather play out that process than, be from another country and more poor country and get caught up in something abroad. They probably never gonna come get you because they don't have negotiating or leverage to even come get you. You know what I mean?
Damn. Yeah, that's true.
It's just is what it is. So back to the feminism piece. So you had some coach in the WNBA. Let me go ahead and reset the room. Yo, it's the Nerve of You podcast, man, coming at you on this lovely Sunday evening, man. I'm here with the co-host I love to do the most. We got Rose in the building, y'all.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to talk about this topic.
Indeed. So you got a coach in the WNBA, Brittney Griner's coach. You know, she played for Phoenix, the WNBA team, Phoenix. I think it's the Phoenix Mercury. And the coach came out and said, well, if that was LeBron James, he'll be home already. I'm like, that statement is so irresponsible because, and it's so uneducated. And they feeding it to the left because nobody's on the right. Nobody's that's, you know, conservative is even going to go for nothing like that. Everybody knows why LeBron James is more important than Brittney Griner. And it come down to green, period. LeBron James' name alone is worth a couple $1 billion.
Right.
LeBron James probably throughout his whole career, starting in high school, probably grossed these corporations and big companies probably, you know, 10, 20 $1 billion, maybe even more by himself. And not to mention the team that he built up, not to mention all the things that he got his hands in. So in the eyes of the United States, and to Uncle Sam, LeBron James is more important than Brittney Griner. Why? Because the WNBA doesn't make any money. Matter of fact, they are in the red every year. The only reason the WNBA still exists is because the NBA, they toss some of their marketing dollars, you know, little extras, little scraps. They toss some of the marketing dollars to the WNBA. And now the WNBA is a charity. If the WNBA had to stand on its own, it would be out of business. You can't run a business that doesn't make money. And you know the funny part? Women don't even want to see the WNBA players because you would think that, okay, let the stadiums be packed full of women.
Right.
Nobody wants to see, and y'all forgive me for saying this, nobody wants to see a bunch of women in the WNBA running around acting like men. Back in the day, they didn't act like that. I come from the Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson,
Skylar Diggins.
No, she's new. I'm talking about the old school WNBA players. Cheryl Swoops, the Tina Thompsons, the Shamika Holsquaws, the Lisa Leslies, the Rebecca Lobos. I mean, it was a bunch of them, man. And I can go down the list. I come from watching these women back in 97, 98, and they still act like women. The WNBA is so bad. I read an article online, and I forgot this woman's name. She played for the WNBA, and she quit abruptly, right? She quit arbitrarily because, and I'm paraphrasing the article, she was saying that the WNBA is so toxic toward heterosexual women that the women on her team used to tease her because she had a husband, and I think she had a son at the time.
Oh, wow.
She said they used to haze her because she was a married woman with a child. And you know, like 98% of the WNBA is gay.
Right.
And that community is so toxic in the WNBA, and then they wonder why nobody wants to watch it. I wouldn't dare sit through a WNBA game at this point. I don't care what player it is. I don't give a damn.
Yeah.
Not all of them are gay, but like 98% of them are. The coaches, everybody, man. So it's like, what are y'all really running here? It's like a prerequisite. It's the culture. And my bad.
Like, I played basketball in high school for about 4 years, 3 or 4 years. And I mean, the most valuable player on the team, she was like 6'4", really masculine looking, masculine. Everything about her was masculine. She was gay. I mean, I just understand they have a place, because I don't think she would have had a place in any other area. I couldn't see this woman, I said, being like feminine, if that makes sense. Like, that was who she was, and I think the basketball team is a place for them to be themselves.
I mean, look, this is not an anti-gay segment. This is telling how the left is poisoning the minds of modern women and men. But we're talking about women how the left is poisoning, the extreme left, I should say, is poisoning the mind of women, because I'm not anti-gay or
I know.
I'm not none of that. You know what I mean? But you can't have a toxic culture where a heterosexual woman feels like she doesn't belong in the culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? And not just being an outcast. That's one thing. People can handle that. All right, I ain't got no friends. But you can't be going to work being harassed, being hazed, you know what I mean? Being treated like a red-headed stepchild because you want to have a husband and a child. But this is how toxic that culture is getting. And if people don't talk about it, you know what I mean? Because once you say anything about the LBGTQI, rest of the letters community, you automatically are a hater. You automatically are a homophobic person, da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, whoa, that ain't even the case. But look at the culture.
That's true.
It's very toxic, man.
You got a point.
It's very toxic. So back to feminism. You can't be a woman, right, that runs around, talk about men like a dog, and then when Roe v. Wade come about, you jump on Instagram and say, oh, well, you know, why aren't more men stepping up and having our back? But it's just like, yo, man, you know, that's y'all fight. I ain't trying to be funny.
Have your own back.
Like, that's y'all fight.
It's the lack of self-awareness for me.
You know what I mean?
That's what it is.
Some issues men don't mind speaking of if they feel is unfair, but when it come to something like Roe v. Wade and, you know, abortion rights, and a lot of that is tied to people with religion preferences and what they believe in on a spiritual level as far as, you know, children in the womb. Man, that's something a lot of people in general, they ain't even trying to touch. Like, yo, man, that's y'all fight. You know what I mean? If y'all want to go around and terminate these things, that's on you. But at the end of the day, I shouldn't have to come out. You know, if I was a celebrity guy or a man with influence to speak on it, I wouldn't dare say nothing about that. Right. Especially if I had aspirations to do something big, I wouldn't touch that. That's y'all fight. You know what I mean? I probably wouldn't say nothing for it, and I probably wouldn't say nothing against it. I'd just be like, look, man, no comment. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So, you know, it's just crazy how a lot of modern women are just detached from reality. And this is what I see when I see Brittney Griner, people. I see a woman that's detached from reality. You know what I mean? Obviously, you know, she's a gay woman, played basketball all her life, always been tall, always had preferential treatment, da-da-da-da-da. And in the United States, they told her, well, because you're a woman, because you're a black woman, and you're gay, you can do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure nobody said it like that, but that was the climate. That was the sentiment. Well, because you're a black woman and you're tall, you play basketball, and you're gay, you can do whatever you want. Matter of fact, go to Russia with some weed. Go ahead. Go to Russia with some weed. As an American. If you play for Russia, you are anti-American. Yeah. No, I'm dead serious. If you play for Russia, North Korea, you know what I mean? A few other countries, China, you damn near anti-American.
And they are known for being discriminating against gay people in Russia.
Putin ain't having that. Vladimir Putin said, you know, to that community over there in Russia, you know, because he put it into law, you cannot teach that to the children. So anywhere that children may reside, you can't promote that lifestyle. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, you know, he has his reasons for that, but that's on the books. You see what I'm saying? But you go all the way over there to Russia, you got a little win on you. All right, cool. But at the end of the day, it speaks to the entitlement. It speaks to the delusional mind of some of these women, man. And when you have a delusional mind
and arrogance,
and you're not in reality, you would go to a country like Russia, right, where she's actually making $1 million a year in Russia. She make about $212,000 in the United States. Because the WNBA ain't making no money. Mm-hmm. They can't pay these girls.
Damn.
But she makes like $1 million a year playing in Russia.
Oh, wow.
So Russia wasn't racist when they was giving her $1 million. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about Brittney Griner, people. The country of Russia wasn't racist when they was giving her $1 million. They wasn't sexist when they was paying her $1 million.
That's true.
Let's keep it a buck. But nobody want to say this. They wasn't racist when they gave Brittney Griner $1 million just to play basketball. She only making $212,000 in the United States. She was making over $1 million a year playing basketball. So how are they racist? How are they sexist? By definition, she had fair treatment. How many people in Russia can even have the ability, a Russian citizen that can make $1 million?
They can't.
So I find it very odd, man. And this the shit that I be talking about. Black Twitter, and you got the extreme people on the left corrupting people's minds, man. Black Twitter will have you thinking that Russia was racist against Brittney Griner and sexist and all this crap when they were giving a damn girl $1 million a year. Come on, man. Now, can you still have problems in your society? Yeah, but if they was overtly hating on her, she wouldn't be able to make that money. They would have stopped her from coming in the country. Mm-hmm. She came into the country and did something illegal. No matter how small it is, how minute it is, it does not matter. The damn girl came over there with weed as an American. This is how politically stupid the damn girl is.
That's true.
The United States has given, billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine. You know what I mean? And Russia don't, they ain't feeling that.
Right.
So if you politically astute, you will understand there is tension between Russia, Vladimir Putin, and the United States right now, like it has always been. But there's even more pressure to stay the hell out of Russia. But you got the goddamn unmitigated gall. And you don't have the savviness to understand, you know what? I think I'm going to sit this season out. And then on top of that, you go over there with some weed, and then you want to complain? Come on, man. Brittney Griner look healthy to me. You know what I'm saying? So I just got to kick it how I see it, man, because I find it very, very odd, man, that they try to make this a woman thing or a black thing instead of a stupid thing.
Or a gay thing.
Or that too. It's like trying to go to, look, man, in certain countries, you go, you don't even drink too much and get into a cab because it could cost you, man. In certain countries you go to your hotel, you do tourist things, and you sit down. You don't even go out at nighttime.
Right.
In certain countries you probably shouldn't even be in. Mm-hmm. But if you're politically stupid and you've been listening to the feminists to say you can do whatever you want, then at the end of the day, this type of crap gonna keep happening. Thank you for that super chat, Shadow Dog Law. U.S. culture is setting the woman up for hard times. Women join the military, only setting themselves up to become spoils of war in the future. Yeah, man, women should not be on the front lines doing combat. Women have always been in combat units. Don't get it twisted. You know what I mean? I've seen women on that 50 cal letting it go. But, to be a full-time infantryman or to be a woman Navy SEAL, are you serious, man? And there was some women that went through Ranger School. And I don't want to get too deep into this. There was some women that passed Special Forces training too, but they lowered the standards. And this is not me saying it. This is what they did. And how they lowered the standards, they didn't lower the standards. They took out major parts of the training that was even, look, most men can't make it through Navy SEAL training.
Right.
Like, most men cannot do this.
That's why they're the Navy SEALs.
To think that a woman can pass Special Forces training is a pipe dream, but they took out large chunks of the training so these few women can pass and stuff like that. And even the cadre, they had to sign non-disclosure agreements because they can't talk about it. But, you know, I understand the military is trying to get more diverse. And, you know, I get it. You can't hurt your company by being more diverse. Like, you want your company to reflect your community. You know what I mean? If you live in a community where it's black, whites, Mexicans, Asians, you want your company to reflect that. Your company can't be all middle-aged white men.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I do believe in diversity. I really do. But not to the point where you can damage your company.
Right.
Not to the point where you skipping over talent just to meet a quota. You know what I mean? I don't believe in that part, but I do believe in diversity. So, you know, there has to be a balance between meeting a quota and making sure your company is represented by everyone.
And competency.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, but that's what I'm talking about. If there's a particular job that a woman can do better than all the men that were qualified, go right ahead. As long as she's proven that she can do the job up to the standards of the men. I got no problem with something like that. I really don't.
Yeah, authority based on competency. That's what we could respect.
But when it comes to the affirmative action, you can't affirmative action your way into a good company. Mm-hmm. Your company moves forward by picking good talent. If all the good talent at that time are men, then you got to put a system in place where, you know, maybe you can train the women, maybe you can train the minorities, maybe you could do certain things, but you can't skip over talent just to meet a quota. I don't believe in that, man, and I feel strongly about that because I wouldn't want to be obligated to hire somebody for my company that was less qualified, you know what I mean, for the job just because it's the law.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying? I should be able to see a talent pool, go in there and pick out the best person and the right person for my company. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So, look, man, you know, we can't affirmative action your way out of everything. Is it important to be diverse? Yes. You know what I mean? If the talent, you know, if they're gay or whatever, it shouldn't matter. Can they do the job? Right. But, again, we shouldn't have to lower the standard. Once you do that, that's when the problem lies.
Yeah, that's where you compromise the system.
That's when you compromise yourself.
That's true.
You know what I mean? That's where you compromise yourself. I mean, remember after the George Floyd thing happened? And you probably don't remember. I do. My email was going crazy. It was all these companies sending out emails about, you know, racism. And it was like a bunch of Black Pride emails from like Netflix, Uber, like all these big corporations. Real talk, Instagram. And it was this big black celebration. They never did it before. But the George Floyd thing was real. I mean, that was a very tragic moment for this country. It was a real bad look for the United States. Mm-hmm. And people was marching all over the world because they seen him get basically murdered. Right. So anyway, all these companies were sending out these emails, which I know they only did it, you know, to try to calm some things down. Right. Because, you know, you can't.
When during the protest, people were vandalizing and destroying the businesses.
Yeah, but not just that. You know, they need those black dollars. They need those minority dollars. You know what I mean? These corporations. So they gonna do. What word am I looking for?
Stand by you.
They're gonna do racial compassion for profit. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It's like during Pride Month. All these companies put up the rainbow flag. Right. Now, most of these people that, especially the board of directors, they don't give a damn about that. Yeah. On a personal tip. But they do it because they want the dollars and they understand how strong the LBGTQ community is. And I ain't gonna lie, I gotta keep it a whole brick. It ain't nobody that can build a community that can build a downtown district like the LBGTQ.
That's true.
I ain't capping.
Atlanta.
Man, you let some Nigerians build the downtown, forget about it. You let some Negroes build the downtown,
damn,
it's finished. You let some white people build a downtown for a couple summers. Yo, you let the LBGTQ community build a downtown in your city. It's going to be thriving, spotless.
Yeah.
It's going to be little to no crime. Everybody
happy.
Everybody happy. I ain't capping. Ain't nobody that can build like the LBGTQ, man. I ain't capping, man. And I realized this early in the game. Like, yo, man, anytime you go to a city, because I remember I went to Chicago. And, you know, Chicago got a stigma. You know what I mean? Old Block, Chirac, all this, right? You know what I mean? Crap, drill music. So Chicago got a stigma. And I got an Airbnb downtown while I was there. Mm-hmm. And I was like real close to the gay district downtown. You know what I mean? So I was driving in the Uber or whatever. And like, you know, when you get it's spotless or whatever. Right. And I was like, yo, this is nice. Like,
this is nice.
I'm looking around like, yo, man, this is really nice.
Look like a dollhouse.
Like, this shit look like the Taj Mahal. You know what I mean? For real, man. No cap. I'm like, this is really nice. But that's like that in any city. In any city you go to the gay community. I ain't lying, man. It's clean. I'm telling you, I don't know how they get it done. Who putting who's putting the money behind these people? Are they just doing it themselves? Like, I'm lost on how they can get these things done. Like, I'm telling you, man, I be like, shout out to them, man. They will build you a downtown. They like the new architects, man. Like we think they did some things in Egypt back in the day by building the pyramids, man. We think the Mayans did some shit. Nah, man. The LBGT community will build you a downtown.
Duali said, ha ha. Definitely learned my lesson about them downtowns.
No doubt, man. You know what I mean? But, so anyway, back to the feminism piece. Yo, man. You know, we got to stop pacifying grown people. Mm-hmm. Regardless of their gender, regardless of their, you know, sexual orientation, regardless of any of this, we got to stop that. Brittney Griner, you know, although I do think she should be home, you know what I mean? I think it's a bit excessive. She's still there, but.
How long have she been there?
Don't quote. I think it's been over 6 months. Don't quote me.
Damn.
But I do think she should be home. But at the end of the day, I lived long enough to understand certain countries you don't play with. Remember on Rocky, I think it was, somebody helped me out in the chat. What, it was Rocky 4, where Rocky was in Russia training to fight Drago. I think it was Rocky 4, I think. I think it was Rocky 4. Somebody helped me out in the chat. But Rocky went over there to train, and because Drago just killed Apollo Creed, and Rocky was avenging his death. And even back then, you know, when I first seen that movie, I was always scared of Russia. Like, man, you don't want to play with these Soviets, man. You don't want to play with them, man. Like, real talk. Like, and this was as a young kid, this was drilled into my mind. You know, although it's propaganda, it's true. Mm-hmm. Like, they was letting us know, even in movies, you know, because in Rocky 4, he was getting followed around by like some Russian diplomats. They was like following him around, making sure they were doing the right thing, mm-hmm. or whatever. But that's how they are. And Russia been known for cheating at the Olympics. Like, Russia don't care. Like, Russia, every Olympics, they in the headlines for steroids and stuff like that. But, you know, as a kid, I knew that's one place I really don't want to be. You know what I mean? If you go around Germany, you see a lot of Russian guys. They'll stab you in the head with a screwdriver. Like, for real, like, they crazy like that. Like, they'll go upside your head with a damn umbrella or something, man. Especially if you talk to their women. Like, they crazy. And so that was an understanding that you don't play with, like, Russia. You know what I mean? Them Albanian dudes. Serbians. It's certain men. I'm sorry.
On power. That's.
yeah. The Serb, they crazy. It's certain groups of men, honestly, that if you ain't gonna go all the way, you might as well fall back. Like, these Russian dudes will literally put a screwdriver through your skull. You know what I mean? Like, you know, especially the ones with the leather coats on. They look cool and they talk real smooth. Nah, man, those the ones you want to fall back from.
With the two-headed dragons.
Yo, man,
Tattoos.
like certain places in Germany, man, if you go to the club, you see some Albanian dudes or some Russian dudes, and they cool. Yeah, they girls might be looking at you.
Yeah.
But if you try to talk to they women or get with they women and they right there, these dudes gonna wash you, man. They gonna wash you up and down. Like, it's just the principle for them. They don't care. They not like American men. You know niggas be like, oh man, fuck her. You know what I mean? She ain't this. She a hoe. An Albanian dude don't care if the girl is a hoe. Now, he might call her that, but you can't call her that. You know what I'm saying? It's just how it is. A Russian dude is not going to let you talk to a Russian woman any kind of way. He might call her a bad word, but you can't call her that.
Right.
These guys are men of pride, man. You know what I mean? I'm being 100, man. These guys are men of pride, man, and they will wash you up and down the street, and they don't care, man. And they got bail money. They got people. I mean, these are a man's man. So I kind of peeped that through the years. Like, you know, I don't really want no smoke with no Russians, man, because I ain't gonna end well. Shout out to Brittney Griner. We see that ain't gonna end well.
And she has been there for about 5 months. So you were
5 months. Yeah, correct. I mean, she been there. I mean, that's a long time for the crime.
Yeah.
In the United States, they would have gave her a warning. They probably would have did that in the United States, but at best, she would have got a warning, a ticket, and you can go about your day. Over there, you know, right now, she's paying the price. You know what I mean? She was so anti-American too. I find it odd that she can't wait to get back home.
Right.
Ain't that something? Brittney Griner was very anti-American.
Damn.
She was very anti-American. And let me say this, man. America has a lot of cleaning up to do, you know, in our ranks as a nation. But I would rather wear this American flag on my shoulder than any of it. I'm sorry. I just got to keep it real. Like, I know, you know, some people may disagree, but everybody that disagree, it ain't like they upped and moved to Africa. They capping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all these dudes that hate America, why they don't just go and be a citizen of Liberia or Uganda or Kenya? Because
they know that their political system is full of corruption, and it's way worse. Way worse. They don't take care of their community as well as we do. Most
people that up and move to Africa, they still get their money from the United States.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just the reality, man. Now, an African can come over here with nothing, go to medical school, be a doctor, whatever the case. It's not like that. We can't go to Africa and just think that, you know, go to Africa with nothing, you know what I mean, and just think we're going to come up and be in the upper echelon. No. It don't work like that. A Nigerian person can come over here with nothing, ride the backs of our affirmative action. Right. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it real.
While talking crap about the Akatas.
Talk crap about us, and a Nigerian can go to medical school, they can go to college, whatever, start a business, or whatever the case, and they can get money here and still get money over there. You know what I mean? And, an American, you want to go to Nigeria, good luck.
Right.
If you ain't got no pension, if you ain't got no money coming in from the United States, if you ain't got no way to get no paper, you screwed. Excuse me.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
Unless you just go over there and you're a real mastermind. Like me.
You are.
And you're a real mastermind. I built a quick little sidebar. I built an underground logistic base when I was in Iraq. Do you know I had people dropping alcohol off of Chinooks? You know, Chinooks, those big planes. It's like real big and long. Pause. I definitely got to pause that. But I built an underground logistics base in Iraq where I had people dropping stuff off the chopper for me, like it was Amazon Prime. But you got to be so plugged in. You got to be linked in. You got to speak the lingo. It took me a little while to get that up and running, but when I had it up and running, I was clicking, man. And I did it all from my little laptop, man. Had a couple keys missing. So, but that's just me in the mastermind. Like, I'm like, man, I'm over here for a long time. I got to make it work.
Right.
And sure enough, man, so, you know, there's no doubt in my mind, if I can do that, I can go to Nigeria and figure that out too.
Oh,
but
gosh.
back to the conversation. I just wanted to do a little sidebar. But back to the conversation, though, you know what I mean? Everybody anti-American till they need them, man. I find that odd.
Especially black folks. I don't know why we talk like that. Well, I do, because of slavery. I get it. But Somalia, I just saw Black Hawk Down. The way the Somalians treated their people, they traded food to the point where those citizens died of starvation and famine, destroyed the land so no food could grow, and traded the food from the UN to clan members for weapons so that the citizens can starve. Who does that?
I mean, well, it was a lot of countries that did that, honestly. But you know, food is bullets, you know what I'm saying? For a lot of people, man. If you can control the economic base in the country, you starve the people out, you'll have some kind of control. But here's the point, you know, like, everybody anti-American till they need America, boy. I find that very odd, man. And look, man, you know, this is not to say that as black people we shouldn't still be trying to get our civil rights on or whatever, but we got to keep it a buck sometime too, man. You know, black people are in the fabric of America. I don't know why more black people just won't say that I'm American. You know what I mean? That's kind of odd to me. I mean, although I know why, I'm like, well, as black people, we may not ever see the best side. I'm talking about, you know, while we living. You know what I mean? It might be our great grandkids that see the best side of this country, and maybe they won't.
I've seen the best side of this country.
But at the end of the day, you know, if we doing a comparison, we look at some of the countries, even in Mexico. That's right. You know, Mexico is our neighbor. You know what I mean? I would rather be from the south side of Chicago than be from what ass.
Right.
I'm just being 100. So, you know, if you want to be anti-American, that's fine, but that's disrespect to all the black people that fought for civil rights, for all the black men that fought in every war in this country just to prove that we was equal, to prove that we was good enough. A lot of times in the military, before it was desegregated, that's all black men was joining for, just to prove that they was just as good to their white counterparts. You see what I'm saying? So the military was one of the first things that got desegregated. If it wasn't for a lot of the movements in the United States Army and other branches, then a lot of the energy behind the civil rights movement wouldn't have been there. So, you know, we got to keep it in perspective that black people are in the fabric of this country. You know what I'm saying? I know it's like a cliche thing to say, but if you're black and you're listening, you are American. Right. That's just the reality of the situation. That's why American people, black, white, or otherwise, go to other countries and walk around with their chest out.
Yeah.
For real. They go to other countries and be arrogant and cocky and sleep with all their women and stuff. This is why This is why American people do that, because they understand, yo, man, I'm from a decent place, man. You know what I'm saying? And we tend to look down on other people and all that. So.
And we tend to not understand that freedom of speech and freedom of speech and our rights, all of our rights, that's like a thing that wasn't always there. Not a lot of people in the past thought that everyone deserved freedom of speech.
I mean, yeah, of course.
Which is,
look,
sad.
I'm just keeping it real. You know what I mean? Call me what you want. But I ain't trying to be Brittney Griner. All of this going to lead back to her. Like, you know, we got freedom of speech, but we ain't got freedom to be stupid. I mean, I ain't bringing no damn drugs into Russia.
Yeah.
As a black person, at that, are you serious? I mean, this girl's out her mind. And this is why, I can't feel too sorry for Brittney Griner, because I'm like, what was she thinking? Or she wasn't thinking. But that's that feminist, extreme left mindset. That mindset tells modern women, I can do whatever I want, when I want, how I want, until you take it to Russia. Until you take it to some other countries that's going to really come see you about that. And then now you begging President Biden saying, please don't forget me. Come on, dog.
Yeah.
Like, this stuff is asinine to me. This stuff is crazy. I bet you Brittney Griner will never kneel for the flag again.
You're right.
Or for the national anthem. I bet she'll never kneel again. Because you know who's going to be coming to get her? At some point, the United States going to have a plane ready. Whenever Russia complies, we don't know when that's going to be, but the United States will have a plane ready so this woman can come home.
Yeah.
And when she come home, she going to be treated like a hero, like she just got back from a war. No, she just got back from a war of stupidity. You know what I mean? And a lot of women need to take heed to what I'm saying. It's not, trying to put women down, but it's putting it in perspective on how some women could be so delusional to believe that you can do what you want, when you want, how you want, to who you want, and there's no consequences. Right. Brittney Griner is the example for that. Brittney Griner is the spokesperson for there's consequences, man.
Right.
And if you don't want to pay that cost, don't do it. Don't be stupid. But when anytime you try to tell women the truth these days, anytime you try to keep it a buck with women, they gonna call you, oh, you're a misogynist, or you da-da-da-da. And it's like, no, I'm just trying to protect you. If I can't give you any advice, if I can't lead you in the right direction, and I'm still obligated to protect you, it's like, man, you on your own. At that point, if you ain't gonna listen to nobody, and then call everybody when you get into trouble, it's like, what kind of life you living? You ain't doing nothing but creating enemies out here, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
You ain't doing a damn thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's keep it a buck, man. Let's keep it real. Women are thriving in this country.
Thriving.
What can't women do in this country? That's odd to me. And to hear women complaining day after day after day after day, it's like, yo, man, we got to keep it in perspective. Women, I can make the case that women have a lot more opportunities than men based on different variables. Based on men wanting to sleep with women. Based on, you know what I mean? Some women just having an easier path. Nobody wants to be the one to tell a woman no these days. You know what I'm saying? Based on dudes being scared that a woman will put a false case on or whatever.
Yeah, don't underestimate the power of a attractive woman that is intelligent and young, and yeah, a lot of people underestimate that much power. That's a lot of power.
I mean, real talk, man. Real talk. I mean, so, I just like to put these type of things in perspective, man. We not telling the truth out here, and it's the media fault. It's these people from the extreme left. Most of all, it's women's fault for buying into it. All the entitlements. So that's basically what it is. When I see this Brittney Griner situation, I just think of entitlement, man. You know what I'm saying? And when you're so entitled, you just really detach yourself from all sense of reality. And that's what's going on with her. And I bet you, anybody else that you these days ain't gonna do nothing stupid, because they're looking at Brittney Griner like hell to the no. Me personally, that little 5 months, man, she could eat that, man. You know what I'm saying?
She's looking at 7 to 10 years.
She not gonna. I can't see that happening, man. They trying to get this girl home. We don't know when. I mean, 7, that's excessive, but that's the country you in. You know what I mean? You can't be. It's just crazy how we think. It's just crazy how we think. This is past women. Just as Americans, sometimes we so arrogant and we just think we can do what we want. And when you detach yourself from reality, you're not even thinking about countries like Russia, certain countries, maybe even, China is very, very strict with people. You know what I'm saying? Certain countries, we're not even thinking about the consequences of what will happen if you break the law in some of these countries, because we've been so spoiled as Americans.
And that $1 million wasn't worth it, if you ask me.
I mean, of
Leaving
course,
the
now,
security of your home.
I mean, in hindsight, you know what I'm saying? She's thinking like, man, I should have stayed at the crib.
For real.
But I hope this woman come home, 5 months. She's been in there long enough to learn a valuable lesson. I don't wish nothing bad on her. She should have been home. But, man, I don't feel sorry for her just because she a woman either. Because if that was a black man over there, a lot of people wouldn't feel. If that was a black man, they'll be calling that man stupid and dumb and every other name in the book. Like, oh, you know what I mean? He's just some thug criminal. He must be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would have labeled him all kind of savages, man.
Right.
If he did something stupid like try to get into Russia with drugs. Are you serious, man?
Mm-hmm.
Just because weed is legal in the United States don't mean you can bring it around the world.
That's true.
You damn people are crazy. Real talk. You damn people are sick. We're not educated as a society. We're not well informed about anything. In this society, we just going through life like da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? Like Smokey on Friday. Do-do-do-do-do. Real talk. Just walking around.
That's funny.
Not taking into account any global view of nothing. Niggas literally walking around like Smokey. Do-do-do-do-do. Just walking through the hood. Walking through the block. Walking through wherever. Not paying attention. Why? Because we got so entitled and so spoiled that we know it's going to be somebody there to pick up the slack.
Mm-hmm. Or we could try to pay our way out of it.
I mean, whatever the case. Come on, man. These people are sick, man. Damn, Brittney Griner need to have several seats, man.
She is.
Well, that's a good one. You know what I mean? But no, real talk. She need to have several seats, man. This girl crazy. Over there doing the most, man. With her big 6'8" ass, man. You big and goofy. She a big goofy. Big 6'8" ass, man. Over there, eyes wide as hell, walking to the courtroom. Well, yeah, that's Russia. What you think? What you think, you in Cook County? This is Russia. Imagine if she would have did something real stupid, man. You know what I mean? So, come on, dog. We got to be 100, man. Brittney Griner need to have several seats, man. And everybody that support that crap coming out saying stupid shit. Brittney Griner is no LeBron James.
Right.
Not even close. LeBron James is somewhere way over here. Brittney Griner way over here. They're not even close in talent.
Right.
LeBron James wouldn't even be stupid enough to try to go to Russia with drugs on him. He ain't stupid.
That's true.
I got my criticisms of LeBron, but not on. I mean, come on, man. Brittney Griner crazy. But that's that feminism entitlement that says because you're a black woman and you gay, you could do whatever you want. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Because in the United States, people, like a lot of white men scared to say stuff to black women because of the backlash, right? Mm-hmm. It's just a thing. You know what I mean? Let's be honest.
They're really scared to come off racist.
Particularly the black woman. They don't mind being dickheads to black men. For the most part. But to black women, y'all like a hands-off policy. Like, black women can go in corporate America and get sassy with the white boss. You know what I'm saying? And
he think it's cute.
For one, he likes it because they masochists. But for two, ain't nobody gonna say nothing because they don't want the human relations or human resources headache.
Yeah.
They don't. Because black woman, the first thing they gonna say, he a racist. Mm-hmm. They don't want the black woman army after them. And then a white feminist gonna come behind them, and it's gonna be a big mess. So, middle-aged to older white men, they not gonna say nothing to no sister, man. This is why black women pretty much run corporate America. That's just the reality. I've seen it a lot of places, man. And it just is what it is, man. I mean, you know, that's just the lay of the land. But when you got situations like Brittney Griner,
That's true.
you know what I'm saying? All that stuff go out the window. All the entitlements. So basically what I was saying was, if ain't nobody gonna say nothing, if ain't nobody gonna talk to these sisters, be like, man, y'all going down the wrong path. If something bad happened, can't blame all men.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because your head got filled up with the lies. White men are, for the most part, not all, but I say the overriding majority of white men are scared to reprimand a black woman in corporate America. Or really any job. If you go to, I remember I was working at the post office, man. This was no cat. This was some years ago. Yo, man, I had this white, you know, for the particular post office. I forgot his, but he was in charge. I forgot his title. He was the warehouse manager, whatever he was.
A supervisor?
No, it was something else, but he was in charge. And I can tell, man, he really wasn't feeling no brothers, man. He wasn't feeling, especially no young nigga like me. But to them sisters in there, they was like freaking frat. Real talk. They was like running Stimpy, man. No cap. This is a true story, man. Them sisters couldn't do no wrong. And they ain't do shit all, I mean, of course they worked, but they ain't do shit all day. The white dude was even a dickhead to some of the white girls that worked there.
It'd be like that.
But he stayed up in these sisters' face, man. This is true story. I said I couldn't believe it, man.
That's funny.
And that probably was the more extreme end of things I've seen. But I've always seen this relationship with black women and white men, that white men love them some sisters, man, especially at the workplace, because they know, you know, it's how it is, man. I don't know when this shit started, but I know it's a real thing. Motherfuckers like freaking frat, man. I couldn't believe it, man. And then even one of the black women pulled me to the side, and she was putting me on the game. She was like, yeah, like he really don't like you. Like he messing with you so you can go off on him so he can fire you.
Damn.
Like she put me on some real game and shit.
Hell no.
You know what I'm saying? She put me on some game, and I appreciated that. But she was mad tight. I mean, I'm surprised she even went to work because they were so close, man. Ain't no white dude gonna say nothing to no black woman, man. Not anything. Black women have a hard time with white women at the job. Mm-hmm. They ain't truly got a hard time with white men at the job. I'm sorry, man. It's just my observation. I'm not saying it don't happen, but I'm saying 9 times out of 10, a black woman definitely gonna go head up with a white woman because they fighting for position,
right,
in the company.
Right.
Man, but real talk, ain't no white man, ain't no white boss or manager or supervisor gonna say nothing to no sister. He ain't trying to deal with the headache, man.
That's true. You're right.
And you know, moreover, he understand that black woman is an asset. Because black women do work hard as hell sometimes and shit. So, you know what I mean? They want to keep it around.
And they'll protect your company.
All that stuff, man. I done seen it all. So, you know, a lot of women, man, they very entitled because, I'm talking about black women in particular, they very entitled, man, because of how the job and corporate structure is set up for them anyway. You know what I mean? For a lot of these women, there is a pipeline that go from high school to a lot of these government jobs, or college to a lot of these government jobs. And then they get there, they can stay there for 30 years, 25 years. They'll never get fired unless they did something crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just ask to be fired, but they'll never be fired. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's been like that for like years now, man. And, you know, I can see how the entitlement can get as extreme as a Brittney Griner situation. I can see that, man, because I've been seeing it my whole life and shit, man. Like, damn, man, you know what I'm saying? How all y'all sisters got tenure with the government? You know what I'm saying? It's like, but I don't know.
You got a point there.
I ain't got all the answers, man. I'm just kicking what I observed, man. And I definitely observed a lot of shit like that, man. And then, you know, them same women that come to the brothers like, oh, y'all not doing enough and y'all not, you know, pulling up y'all bootstraps and all of this. But it's just like, well, you know, Everybody ain't got it as good as y'all.
Right.
I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Everybody ain't got it as good as y'all. I just gave an example. I was literally working for the post office as a veteran. You know, veterans get preference at the post office. I was working for the post office as a veteran, and still, I knew the warehouse supervisor didn't like. I mean, clearly, man, he was fucking with me all day. Like this was, you know what I mean? And I was like, yo, this is a true story. I was about to write my local congressman, man, you know what I mean, to complain about him. This is no cap, you know what I mean? I never got around to it, but at the end of the day, you know, he wanted me up out of there. For whatever reason. And I ain't do nothing to the dude. I can see if I ain't say nothing to nobody. That was the most quietest I ever been at a job because I ain't really know nobody and I wasn't trying to get to know these people. But, you know, the sister came to me on the low, man. She was like, come here, let me talk to you, man. And she was like, he fucking with you because he want to fire you. Like, he's waiting for you to fuck up. He's waiting for you to overreact so he can write you up because I was still on a probational period at the time. So, you know, it just was what it was. And then it was this older black lady, man. She reminded me of like Cicely Tyson. And she was actually a driver for the post office or whatever. And I used to see her outside or whatever from time to time. We'll speak, be cordial. I remember one day, you know, we was just talking. She was like an old slave. She was like, yeah, this is a good job. Like, it was like, I'm like, oh, man, real talk. She was like, don't ever call out. She said, even if you got the flu, you better come in here and work.
Don't tell nobody.
Yeah, she was like she reminded me of Cicely Tyson, man. She was like an old black lady, man. And I was like, yo, man, these people stuck in time, yo. And I was like living in Florida at the time, so I was living in Pensacola, so it was like a culture shock. And I was like, yo, man, did I go back to slavery or something? Did I go back to Reconstruction? Like that conversation I had with that black woman was so odd to me because she was dead serious, man. She was like, I'm just so lucky I got this job. And she was like, don't you ever call out. She was just dragging her foot. And I could tell that job was so painful. She was walking and dragging her damn foot. And I'm like, lady, you need to go see a damn physician, an orthopedic doctor, but she would not take a day off. And this lady was damn near walking and just scraping and dragging the other leg. And I'm like, lady, I'm like, what's going on? Like, you need a freaking wheelchair. And she was this sweet. And I could tell, you know what I mean, just having that post office job was a lot for her.
This is so funny to me.
No cap, man. And I was just in shock and awe of this lady because she was just acting like we went back 50 years. Like, I'm like, yo, lady, you march with Dr. King?
Why Dark Man Joe said don't get massa mad?
I ain't capping, man. That conversation I had with this older black lady, man, was so ill. It was the illest. And I was, you know, I'd be looking around for help. I'd be like, yo, why do God put me in these situations where I can't laugh and I gotta take people serious? Because she was just like, she talked like a straight slave. And she looked like Cicely Tyson. I'm like, yo, this is like a scene from The Raisin in the Sun. So I was looking around for help. I was so dizzy, man. I came back off my break. It was like a weekend at Bernie's, man. I didn't know what to do. I was like, yo, man, this lady got me walking sideways, man.
This is hilarious.
You know what I mean? This lady got me walking sideways, man. I'm like, yo, what the this older black lady, man. She gave me a real slave class, man. Like, just that being scared. Like, don't you ever call out now. Like, she was like, because I'm just so thankful and God blessed me with this job. And don't get me wrong, I understand where she's coming from. But I was like, man, lady, I get it. But it's 2018.
That's how I feel when I'm in the airport and I see these black guys, older black guys.
Shining shoes.
Shining shoes. And it always be some old, fat, white man with a suit on.
Yeah, they love to get their shoes shined.
And I'm like, yo, it's 2022. You know, you could be a
you can
Uber
make
driver.
More, yeah, I'm about to say, like, you can make more doing DoorDash than shining people's shoes. Like, this ain't the 1920s where, you know, everybody had to ride the train. So you on the train for 10 hours, of course you got time to make money. I mean, what you think they make? Like barely minimum wage? They got to work off tips? I'm like, yeah, you could be an Uber driver. You could do whatever.
And
you could start up a YouTube channel and make more money.
I think that's the most degrading job. I hate seeing
Or like them bathroom, like some places still got the bathroom workers. I forgot the last place I was.
Nah, that's needed.
I mean, it's very demeaning to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been in some places in Atlanta where them dudes, they tip jar is crazy. But they got everything. They cutting hair.
Okay.
Yeah, they cutting hair. They got the cologne. So I see, like, that's a full-fledged. They selling liquor.
Yeah,
so they treat it like a business.
Right.
But I've been some places where, you got somebody standing there. They just give you a napkin. Real shit. Like, they just give you a real napkin. Like, you wash your hands. And they just standing there like, what I mean? Farnsworth Bentley. Now, that's, like, kind of degrading to me, man. But I seen this shit for a long time, man. But them shoe shiners got to go, man.
Oh, man.
Real talk. Like, it.
Them shoe shiners.
And you know what I be thinking?
N-words.
Like, you know what I be thinking? I ain't trying to judge, but I think that to end up like that, you can't have a good relationship with your kids or grandkids because they always do be all like older black men. And I don't have a real relationship with my dad. I mean, we don't talk. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We don't hate each other, but we don't speak. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He can call me, I'll pick up, but that's about as far as that's gonna go. But this is just square biz. If I found out my dad was shining shoes at an airport or anything that I think could be demeaning to his pride, I would do everything in my power to get him out of that situation. Mm-hmm. If he wanted to. I can't make him, but if I could, like if I had enough money to just pay his rent, I would do that. I mean, I'm not in that position, but I can try to put him on or be like, look, just, let me help you out. Let me subsidize your income or something. I don't know what I can do, but I'm not letting my people go out like that. Me personally, you know what I'm saying? We're going to try to figure out something. I'm going to try to put them in position like, yo, my man hiring over here. You can come sweep my floors, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I always think like a lot of these people probably don't have a lot of family, man. Mm-hmm. Or if they do, I get it. They could be really poor, but it ain't that much poor, man. It's people that can sustain themselves driving Uber, man. And this is a true story, man. It's people that can sustain themselves doing other alternate little things to make money. But I always think, who would let their granddad or father get out the bed and go and shine some shoes of an old white man? This ain't the 1930s, dog.
You could go work at Walmart.
You can go,
as a door greeter.
Yeah, you can greet doors at Walmart. I mean, we live in a society of the hustle, right? Meaning, because of social media, everybody can go direct to consumer. So a lot of people skip the corporate world and got popping on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook. Like, people are legitimate millionaires off YouTube and Instagram. Like, there's so many ways to reach your audience. Everybody got to hustle, and that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? We creating a lot of entrepreneurs out here.
Yeah.
And
money is moving around.
You just got to get to it. So my thing is just simple. Like, well, why the fuck and how the fuck this happened? You know what I'm saying?
How did you end up there?
I mean, and I'm not saying it in a demeaning way. I'm saying it like, where's their family at?
Right.
How can you let your grandfather go out there? Nah. How could you let your father go out the house? Like, why, all the kids come together like, Pops, we're going to pay your rent every month till you get in position. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I thought that's what family was for. Mm-hmm. What's the point of having family? I found out my sister was selling some stuff online. I didn't even know what it was. I said I want 2 of those. Real talk.
Wow, that's good.
I think it was some hats or something, but I ain't even look at it. I don't even know what the hats is. I don't even know what it is. I said I want 2. I don't care. I don't care if she was selling freaking baked clams. Like, yo, send me a few, man. I mean, just take this, man. You know what I mean? Because that's what family for.
Right.
With family, you shouldn't have to ask twice. really, with anybody you love, you shouldn't have to ask. If you selling something on Facebook, if you got a business coming up, you ain't got to come to me and ask me. I'm sending that through. I don't care what it is. I ain't even got to use it.
When you getting your halo?
Soon. Now you get your website up. Real shit. But that's what family for. You know, it's crazy, man.
My website is up.
It's crazy out here, man. I think motherfuckers really lost their mind, dog.
They did.
If you got family, you support them no matter what, especially if it's something positive. All right, I get it. You don't support the negative. You got some little cousins that sell T-shirts, man, buy 5 of them. Square business, buy 5. You got a little nephew or niece that sell chocolate candy for school, buy 20 of them. They're like $1, $2 a piece. You got $40. You don't even eat chocolate. Just pay for them anyway and throw it out.
Right.
You know, in school you had to sell candy. I never knew what they did with the money. I sold candy quite a few times at school. I don't know if they still do it, but at the end of the day, you see somebody in your family, little kid with a lemonade stand, you buy them out. Man, here go 200, man. I know we so damn selfish these days. We don't care about shit. And that's the crazy part, man. Like, we don't even support young entrepreneurs in the community. You see somebody doing something positive, you're supposed to get that anyway. You see a little kid, little kid might say, "Can I cut your grass, little boy?" Your grass might not need to be cut. You have him cut it anyway. Keep him out of trouble. Motherfucker might walk up on your door. "Hey, excuse me, sir, can I shovel your snow?" He'd be like, "Yeah, man, I was going to do it myself, man, but here go a $100. Handle your business. Shovel my driveway or whatever.
For a whole week.
Yeah, and come back tomorrow. I'm going to pay you to do my neighbors." That's how you do that. You pay them anyway. Even if you just throw them something, even if you don't want them to do it, you throw them something. Like, "Here, man, like, here go a little $30, man. That's all the cash I got, man. I just want to support you." We don't even support young entrepreneurs in the community, man.
Because they will be tomorrow's millionaires.
A lot of times, you know what I mean? Like we seen Meek Mill with the water bottles. Like, that's how it is for a lot of these young dudes. That's why they don't even bother to go through the humiliation of asking somebody for something. Honestly. The Asian community don't have that problem. The Indian community don't have that problem. Hispanic community don't have that problem. You know what I'm saying? Because they understand. You're supposed to teach young people about commerce, man. And you're supposed to support them doing anything positive.
That's why in the white community, they often set up lemonade stands to promote that, so that they could teach their children. We don't have that in the hood.
Because niggas don't care. Honestly, man. Black men don't care. Because that's the black man's job. If you look at like a lot of these little league football teams and basketball teams, and it be mad women supporting them shits with their dollars, man. Baking the cookies, doing the carpools. Yeah, it be men that be the coaches or whatever. Women on the sideline doing first aid. I used to be at high school games all the time and shit like that, man. There be mad women out there. Niggas don't care about nothing, man.
But chasing women.
I'm talking about them. Honestly, it's just, I'm keeping it at 100, man. Even with the self-improvement summit, 95% of the donations I got been from women. And it started out as something for men.
Damn.
I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just keeping the whole brick about the shit. Like, yo, man, you niggas can kiss my ass. Straight up. You niggas can kiss my ass, man. 95% of donations I got for the Self-Improvement Summit, and even like the bigger donations, came from women. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, niggas are sending little twos and fews. And that's good. I'm going to take anything. I'm talking about the, you know what I mean? The yammeens.
The French toast.
I'm talking about the yammeens. Like the yammeens came from the, yeah. I'm talking about the yammeens. Straight up. So it's how it is, man. It's how it is. So I don't get mad at the niggas, the Derek Jacksons, or there's a couple other niggas I follow on Instagram or I see them around that placate to the women. Because I understand if I got a choice to deal with black men or women, I mean, need I say more?
No, you don't.
If I'm talking about if I'm doing it for financial prosperity, you know what I'm saying? Like if I wanted to do something full time, like Derek Jackson, right? Do I want to do it with niggas or women? I mean, that goes without saying. That goes without saying. Especially if I look like Derek Jackson, I wouldn't even fuck. Like, are you serious? So these niggas can hate on you and throw salt in your game?
Right.
Come on, man. These niggas are crazy. A lot of niggas was hating on Derek Jackson for a long time. But I'm like, dog, I could never hate on him. I already knew he was hustling. Derek Jackson don't even believe that stuff he say. But at the end of the day, he had a mean hustle.
Right.
He even came out with a book after him and his wife went through that thing. I'm like, this guy's crazy, man. This guy's off the chip. But at the end of the day, I understand what he was doing. I saluted Derek Jackson whenever dudes was talking about him.
Some things just got to be admired.
I'm like, yo, this dude hustle was consistent. And then, you know, he took it to a big level before. Derek Jackson was huge before the crap happened, before he got himself into some stupid shit. Yeah. Nigga was huge. I respect any black man that's working. I don't have to agree. I don't have to like it. I don't even have to listen to it. But if I can look across the aisle and see your hustle as a black man, and you an entrepreneur, and you able to take care of your family, your kids is eating good, you got money put up, you ain't commit no crime, I don't care what it is. You know what? I'll salute you. I ain't got to rock with you. I ain't got to like it. But just understand, I ain't going to hate on it. Ain't like Derek Jackson was selling drugs to his own community.
Right.
Ain't like he was robbing old people. It's not like he was committing crimes, going back and forth to prison. No. He was a productive member of society that I'm sure he paid his taxes at the end of the year.
Right.
I can't hate on no D-Jack. And then I already knew Derek Jackson was wild. And I said this like 3 years ago online.
You did.
Because it's a small, it's 6 degrees of separation. Everybody know each other. Some way or another. You bump into a girl that know a girl that's her cousin deal with, you know what I mean? That's how it go. Everybody know the same women. It's just is what it is. So I already knew Derek Jackson was wilding. So when dudes was calling him a simp, I was laughing. I'm like, Derek Jackson can't be a simp. He getting the most pussy in Atlanta. I already knew this 3 years ago. Why? Because you know somebody that knows somebody. You know what I mean, that's how I go. And I was hearing his name, like, yo, this nigga Derek Jackson. I'm like, hey, he married. And some of the stories, I was like, I can't believe it. But if it came out to be true, nigga was fucking everything in Atlanta. So
it was only a matter of time.
It was only a matter of time. So a lot of dudes was like, oh, he a simp. He a simp. No, he hustling and he fucking mad women. Like, goddamn, Derek Jackson going crazy. I'm like, Derek Jackson getting more pussy than all these dudes online talking about they alpha males. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah.
All these dudes talking about the red pill, the MGTOW. Derek Jackson is fucking 10 times more women a week than these dudes.
Damn.
Yo, we about to shut the podcast down. I just got to keep it a brick. Like, yo, how can you call him a simp? That nigga pimping. I looked at Derek Jackson and I said, yo, he pimping. He pimping the hell out these women. I don't have to agree, but I understand what's going on. That nigga's a P. You pimping these women, telling them what they want to hear. What you think pimps do? You know what I mean? No homo, he a good looking guy, nigga work out. He got everything working for him. He married, he got that. Come on, man.
He did it with style.
That nigga, man, Derek Jackson did the most.
I got his cards. The stimulate me cards. The
Hell.
couples cards.
Derek Jackson, man, crazy, man. Anyway, man, we're going to shut it down.
Bye, guys.
Shout out to Derek Jackson, man. It's
Right.
crazy ass nigga. Anyway, we up out of here, man. Hope y'all enjoyed the show, man. We'll be right back on Tuesday, man. So you make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Mirror Talk on Amazon. Go cop the book, man. It's a good read. We'll be right back Tuesday, and follow me on Instagram at CBoogie Productions. And that's pretty much it, man. You know, appreciate everybody. Share this live